So, with Russell Martin's appointment as Rangers manager, that means of the video that I made where the four teams in the Scottish Premiership were managerless, I have only had one right so far, with Stuart Kettlewell being the correct one at Kilmarnock. I said that Steven Gerrard looked like he was about to be Rangers manager, and to be fair, at the time the video was being made, it did seem to be that it was on the cards. It just never panned out that way. And of course, I had Sean Maloney going to Dundee, and that ended up being Stephen Pressley. But it seems to be two managerial appointments in a row that haven't come with a lot of praise from the fans. I think a lot of people this morning have woken up to the news after having it kind of broken by Fabrizio Romano, if you like, and some other reporters on it, and have kind of had to come round to the appointment and gone, he's manager now, let's get on board kind of thing, rather than being happy with the appointment. And if reports are to be believed as well, you know, the Rangers board will never admit this, but if reports are to be believed, he was third choice in the end, after Steven Gerrard allegedly pulled out of the race, and there was some rumours that Ancelotti wasn't happy with the length of time they were taking to make a decision on whether or not he was going to be the man in charge, and it ended up being Russell Martin in the end. Of course, the statement today from the Rangers board says that they chose him because of his style of play, with being really high press, attacking football, possession based, and they feel that that will bring success both domestically and in Europe. One of the big complaints under Philippe Clement was that there was no real discernible style of play from the Rangers players, and it was kind of just hit and hope at times. So we'll see if that complaint is fixed by Russell Martin. Some things online that I've seen when this was first announced 2 days ago, or first rumoured to be announced 2 days ago, the vitriol from the Rangers fans was unbelievable, saying stuff like this has completely killed the enthusiasm of the takeover, that sort of thing. You did have one or two people that were saying it wasn't too bad an appointment. You've got more people coming round to it this morning because it's done and dusted now. Get behind the manager, which I can respect that, because, you know, you have to when it's the manager. I just think it's going to be a similar situation to Stephen Pressley, where he is not going to be given a lot of time from the Rangers support to turn things around. One of the things I've seen from Southampton fans describing him is, yes, he plays really good football at times, but he can't set up a defence, which is very strange for a former centre-half to not be able to set up a defence, mind you. But with that being the case, one of Rangers' major issues last season was defence. They conceded almost as many goals as the likes of Hearts and Hibs. Yes, there was issues in front of goal as well. They were passing up big opportunities, struggling to break down the low block at times, but their defence was a major issue last season, and if Russell Martin can't set up a defence, then that could scream a little bit warning signs going forward. However, by the same token, his attacking philosophy appears to be able to unlock teams that Rangers have been previously struggling to unlock at times. So we may see a scenario next season where Rangers just outscore teams in the Premiership and concede a lot of goals, but they're outscoring teams, so it doesn't matter. Although I did see one Southampton fan online say that it takes a little bit of time for Martin's style of play to bed in. So we might see Rangers go through a bit of a torrid time in August and September before it all clicks. Will it clicking after that time period be enough if Celtic get off to a start similar to they did this season, where they just plough on? Will there be enough left in the season for Rangers to catch up? Or will this be a second season job? And if it is a terrible August and September, you know, we've got the Champions League qualifiers in that time, as well. Something that Russell Martin hasn't experienced in his time as a manager is playing in so many competitions that Rangers have, and the squad obviously needs fixed. So it's a big job no matter what. But will he be given the time by the fans is the question. With the reaction I've seen online, I think Stephen Pressley is still in a worse position than Russell Martin, because you do have some people that were actually on board with Martin's appointment in the first place. Haven't seen any of that with Stephen Pressley. And you've seen some people come round to it this morning and go, let's just back him, he's here now. So will he be given the time? Not as much time as I think. Excuse me. Not as much time as I think Ancelotti or Gerrard would have been given to turn things around, not because the board don't like him, but because the fans, I think, will turn quite quickly if this appointment doesn't work out straight away. We saw at the start of the season with Hibs, though, that David Gray didn't get it clicking immediately, and then look what happened there. But then a third place finish for Rangers wouldn't be anywhere near acceptable. It's a big start to the season for Rangers, of course, under Russell Martin. He's got no time to waste, basically. We've got pre-season just around the corner. The Champions League qualifiers are coming up. Rangers, realistically, despite the takeover, have to get to the Champions League to be able to start competing with Celtic financially. I would say if they keep ending up in the Europa League and Celtic keep ending up in the Champions League, this is to assume that Celtic get to the Champions League, that is, they might not. But if Rangers keep ending up in the Europa League and Celtic keep ending up in the Champions League, the disparity in finances will continue to grow, despite the takeover, I would say. Also, the level of player that you can attract if you're in the Champions League every season versus being in the Europa League every season is different quality. And it's already difficult to attract players in Scotland. This is the last point, actually. That was another thing that Rangers fans were saying, was that someone like Ancelotti, despite his inexperience in the managerial game as the number one, his name alone in the clubs that he's played at would have been able to attract a bigger calibre of player than a Russell Martin, and so would Steven Gerrard, for example. Something else I've seen online is that Russell Martin will most likely bring some Southampton players with him. Is that something that Rangers would want? Apart from Joe Rebo, I don't know. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it, though. Thank you very much for watching. If you are new around here, please consider checking out some of the other content on the channel. If you agree or disagree with any points that I've made, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.